always open with this poem. It's just, we're going to have to turn the volume a little, I think. Is the person who does that around? Okay. It's the oldest poem that I read regularly, and it has a very strange afterlife. It's frequently read at the memorials of union organizers, radical lawyers, political activists, to be of use. The people I love the best jump into work head first without dallying in the shallows and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water hope this is gonna hold. Who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields and harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals or field deserters, but move in the common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched and smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing, well done, has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and the person for work that is real. This is the title poem from my newest book, Made in Detroit. My first lessons were kisses and a hammer. I was fed with mother's milk and rat poison. I learned to walk on a tightrope over a pit where snakes' warnings were my rattles. The night I was born, the sky burned red over Detroit and sirens sharpened their knives. The elms made tents of solace over grimy streets, and alley cats purred me to sleep. I dived into books and their fables closed over my head and hid me. Libraries were my cathedrals, librarians my priests promising salvation. I was formed by beating like a blacksmith's sword, and my edge is still sharp enough to cut both you and me. I sought love in dark and dusty corners, and sometimes I even found it, however briefly. Every harsh, every tender word entered my flesh and lives there still, bacteria inside my gut. I suckled Detroit's steel tits. When I escaped to college, I carried it with me, shadow and voice, pressure that hardened me through coal and flame. Sins of omission. Suppose hell were a room where the lovers you broke up with, the spouses you left, the friends you discarded, all were waiting to question you, with no time limit ever, but the explanations could last halfway into eternity. There is no excuse for the end of love or for the fact that it never started its engine into that lovely roar, but just coughed again and again until you gave up and got out and went off. Some friendships are just not sturdy enough to bear the daily wear and weight. How to say, but simply you bored me. Then all the people you did not help, the ones you hung up on, letters unanswered, loans denied, calls not returned, that endless line will be snaking through the horizon, waiting to demand whatever you would not give, down to the bone. The poor are no longer with us. No one's poor any longer. Listen to politicians. They mourn the middle class, which is shrinking as we watch in the mirror. The poor have been discarded already into the oblivion pale of not-to-be-spoken words. They are, as lepers were treated once, to be shipped off to fortified islands in the mind to rot quietly. If poverty is a disease, quarantine its victims. If it's a social problem, imprison them behind high walls. Maybe it's genetic. How often they catch easily preventable diseases. Feed them fast garbage and they'll die before their care can cost you. Provide cheap guns and they'll kill each other well out of your sight. Ghettos are such dangerous places. Give them schools that teach them how stupid they are. But always pretend they don't exist because they don't buy enough, spend enough, give politicians bribes or contributions. No ads target their feeble credit. They are not real people like corporations.
That's a good one.
The scent of apple cake. My mother cooked as drudgery, the same 10 dishes round and round like a donkey bound to a millstone grinding dust. My mother baked as a dance, the flour falling from the sifter in a rain of fine white pollen. The sugar was sweet snow. The dough beneath her palms was the warm flesh of the baby when they were all hers before their wills sprouted like mushrooms. Cookies she formed in rows on the baking sheet. Oatmeal, molasses, lemon, chocolate chip, delights anyone could love. Love was in short supply. But pies were obedient to her command of their pastry, crisp, holding the sweetness within. Desserts were her reward for endless cleaning in the acid yellow cloud of Detroit, begging dollars from my father, mending, darning, bleaching. In the oven she made sweetness where otherwise there was none. The karma of heredity. One morning my mother's eyes stared out of the bathroom mirror. No matter how I wiped away the steam, her eyes met what had used to be mine. Do I complain like my mother? My life shines so much brighter than hers had the chance. I am freer, could pick a new coat or paint a lover or car I fancied. Yet I hear her voice creep from my throat. There she is curling inside my cells, in my genes as they model my aging. I had imagined I could pick and choose which parts of her to take inside, which to reject, what I feared to become. Contemplating my breasts. Strange, these soft lumps in my front. Like men with their pricks, women whose breasts are large tend to be obsessed with you. We're always having to watch out for you, pick out bras with the care men spend selecting a new car. Can't lie on my stomach for long, watching don't get bumped too hard. Notice blouses won't button them, otherwise they fit just fine. Then stare at them when addressing me as if my nipples were talking. Some of us are self-conscious, wear moo-moos or sweatshirts or layer over layer. Others sit close to show you off. My identity contains a streak of you, but sometimes I feel as if I walk around behind you, like a person behind a parade float, just tagging along. The dough of touch. What magic does touch create that we crave it so? That babies do not thrive without it? That the curse who cuts stuffed nails and sends calluses on the elderly tells me that sometimes men weep as she rubs lotion on their feet. Yet the touch of a stranger, the bumping or predatory thrust in the subway is like a slap. We long for the familiar, the open palm of love, its tender fingers. It's our hands that take cats into pets, not our food. The widow looks in the mirror thinking, no one will ever touch me again, not hold me, not caress the softness of my inner thighs, the swell of my belly. Do I still live if no one knows my body? We touch each other so many ways, in curiosity, in anger, to command attention, to soothe, to quiet, to rouse, to cure. Touch is our first language, and often our last as the breath ebbs and the hand closes our eyes. That was called fun. When I drive around my village, poking through half the buildings are what they used to be. The upscale gallery I never entered was the post office. On busy mornings in summer, what car acrobatics were required to pick up the mail, the parking ample enough in the winter, now jammed. The gas stations have turned into pizza. The restaurant that failed 5 different owners and now stands vacant, its most recent sign fading into brown. A warning perhaps to future entrepreneurs. The fire station now sells leather clothing from May to October. Houses from which friends were rushed to the hospital to die or brought home to do it in peace. The field where the white horse Ajax browsed. Once in a thunderstorm he climbed onto my porch and stuck his head in the window. Stood there a while and then walked slowly down the drive and away. The candle factory became the library. The farm was cut into development lots. A hurricane brought down the forest like skinny dominoes in the field. The wrecked boat no longer protrudes at high tide. The summer houses fell over the cliff. Used to be. My head crammed with useless memories and attic in a house someone buys, wondering why the owner kept all that old junk. Even if we try not to let go, our minds cannot hold the dead. They seep away. Their voices stun to silence no matter how hard I try to cup them in my ear. Their faces come apart, cubist explosions of dark eyes, blue, gray, green, her nose, his flyaway hair, the crumpled skin of hands. Did she really say that? Was it April instead of October? What year did measles hit? The collar of her red dress with fish scale sequins. How we are apart in death. Not only our bodies decomposing, but our lives stuck in random pieces in the brains of others who loved or hated us, who carry us in memory or in their genes, who slowly must let us drift like autumn leaves down to the final ground. The full moon of Nisan. The full moon of Nisan pulls us on almost every Jew under the sky to a table. Like a tide composed of tiny rivulets, we head purposefully toward our seders, laden with the flat, tasteless bread of haste. The moon, when it rises, looks like strawberry ice cream. Then it pales to waxy cheese. Then it soars pale and pitted like matzah, the old kind, round instead of square, dry and winking. Nisan brings the matzah moon, urging buds to open, urging minds to fling their gates wide on the night we become slaves and then march out to freedom past lintels smeared with blood. Then there's matzah. Flatula was a doormat and is homely. No crust, no glaze. You lack a cosmetic glow. You break with a snap. You are as a twig split from an oak in midwinter. You are bumpy as a mud basin in a drought, square as a slab of pavement. You have no inside to hide raisins or seeds. You are pale as the full moon pocked with craters. What we see is what we get. Honest, plain, dry, shining with nostalgia as if baked with light instead of heat. The bread of flight and haste, in my mouth you promise home. These are pieces of my Haggadah. Magid. The courage to let go of the door, the handle, the courage to shed the familiar walls whose various strains and leaks are comfortable as the little moles of the upper arm, stains that we call a feast, a child's naughtiness, a loud blattering storm that slapped the roof hard, pouring through. The courage to abandon the graves dug into the hill, the small bones of children and the brittle bones of the old whose marrow hunger had stolen. The courage to desert the tree planted and only begun to bear. The riverside where promises were shaped, the street where their empty pots were broken. The courage to leave the place whose language you learned as early as your own, whose customs, however dangerous or demeaning, bind you like a halter you have learned to pull inside to move your load. The land fertile with the blood spilled on it, the roads mapped and annotated for survival. The courage to walk out of the pain that is known into the pain that cannot be imagined, mapless, walking into the wilderness, going barefoot with a canteen into the desert, stuffed in the stinking hold of a rotting ship sailing off the map into dragons' mouths. Cathay, India, Siberia, Golden Medina, leaving bodies by the way like abandoned treasure. So they walked out of Egypt. So they dragged their way out of Russia under loads of straw. So they steamed out of the bloody, smoking charnel house of Europe on overloaded freighters forbidden all ports. Out of pain, into death or freedom or a different painful dignity, into squalor and politics. We Jews are all born of wanderers, with shoes under our pillow. Wait, oh, this is embarrassing. The second page has disappeared. All right, I will find it for 2 seconds. And I'm going to kill my assistant. When I get home. Okay, Margie, got it. Okay, I'm going to backtrack a little. I hate that. Cathay, India, Siberia, Golden Medina, leaving bodies by the way like abandoned treasure. So they walked out of Egypt. So they dragged their way out of Russia under loads of straw. So they steamed out of the bloody, smoking charnel house of Europe on overloaded freighters forbidden all ports. Out of pain, into death or freedom or different painful dignity, into squalor and politics. We Jews are all born of wanderers, with shoes under our pillows and a memory of blood that is ours raining down. We honor only those Jews who changed tonight, Those who chose the desert over bondage, who walked into the strange and became strangers, and gave birth to children who would look down on them, standing on their shoulders for having been slaves. We honor those who let go of everything but freedom, who ran, who revolted, who fought, who became other by saving themselves. And I'll read one more piece out poem. Corrosive. Sweet and sticky, I always make too much the Pesach, so I have an excuse to eat you all week. Moist and red, the female tree, nothing at all like clay or bricks, nothing like mortar, no. You are sweet as a mouth kissing, you are fragrant with cinnamon, spiciest of dollar boxes. Don't go on too long, you whisper sweetly. Heed the children who are arrested, their bellies growling. You speak of pleasure in the midst of remembering pain. You offer the first taste of the meal, promising joy, like a picnic on a stone where long ago an ancestor was buried, too long ago to weep. We nod, and remembering is enough to offer like honey. If much of what we must recall is bitter, you are the reminder that joy too lights its candles tonight in the mind. This is called The End of Days. Almost always with cats, the end comes creeping over the two of you. She stops eating, his back legs no longer support him. She leans to your hand and purrs, but cannot rise. Sometimes a whimper of pain, although they are stoic. They see death clearly through hooded eyes. Then there's a long, weepy trip to the vet, the carrier no longer necessary, the last time in your lap. The injection is quick. Simply they stop breathing in your arms. You bring them home to bury in the flower garden, planting a bush over a deep grave. That is how I would like to cease. Held in a lover's arms and quickly fading to black like an old-fashioned movie embrace. I hate the white silent scream of hospitals, the whine of pain like air conditioning's hum. I want to click the off switch. And if I can no longer choose, I want someone who loves me there, not a doctor with 40 patients in his morality to keep me sort of kind of alive or sort of undead. Why are we more rational and kinder to our pets than to ourselves or our parents? Death is not the worst thing. Denying it can be. The suicide of dolphins. No one, not even the scientists who study you, knows why you beat yourselves, whole family groups, community, on our beige sand to gasp and die. Unless volunteers call phone to phone quickly and a spider web of summoning can keep you wet and push you into deep water again like shoveling a huge wet sofa. Something's disease or following your leader into danger or chasing fish into water too shallow so you run aground. An old fisherman said to me, they remember how they used to live on the land. They remember. We know nothing, but still we breathe. Is your act any more opaque than a friend who drinks himself into a fiery crash? Another who burnt his brain to a crisp on crack? The woman who would not walk out on her husband even after the 5th trip to the emergency ward, leaving only feet first when he shot her? Or my friend's daughter, who hanged herself at 15 because of names she was called, because of words on a computer screen, because of a boy. We cannot stop each other, but still we breathe. And I'll read 2 more. You ever try to get a recipe from anyone in your family? My mother gives me her recipe. Remember I read you the scent of apple cake? Well, this is the apple cake. Take some flour. Oh, I don't know, like 2-3 cups. You cut it in the bottom. Now, some women they make it with shortening, but I say butter, even though that means you have to have fish. You cut up some apples, not those stupid sweet ones. Apples for the cake. They have to have some bite, you know, a little sour and the sweet, like love. You slice them into little moons. No, like half or crescent moons. You aren't listening. You mix sugar and cinnamon and cloves. Some of you use allspice. Till it's dark and you stir in the apples. You coat every little moon. Did I say you add milk? Oh, just so it feels right. Use your hands, milk and the cake part. Then you pat it into a pan. I like round ones. I forgot to say you add baking powder. Did I forget lemon on the apples? Then you just bake it. Well, till it's done, of course. Did I remember you place the apples in rows? You can make a pattern like a weave. You can make it pretty. I like things pretty. Any fool can make it, except your aunt. I gave her the recipe, but she never got it right.
That's perfect.
So I finally found a recipe in J Creve that I could modify finally after various tries to resemble my mother's apple cake. But she never gave me a recipe I could follow. And the last one I'll read was the art of blessing today. This is a blessing for rain after drought. Come down and wash the air so it shimmers. A perfume shower of lavender shall come. Let the parched leaves suckle and swell. Enter my skin, wash me for the little chrysalis of sleep rocked in your plashing. In the morning the world is peeled to shining. This is the blessing for sun after long rain. Now everything shakes itself free and rises. The trees are bright as pushcart ices. Every last lily opens its satin thighs. The bees dance and roll in pollen. And the cardinal at the top of the pine sings at full throttle fountain. This is blessing for a ripe peach. This is luck made brown. Frost can nip the blossom-killed bee. It can drop a hard green useless nut. Brown fungus, the burrowing worm that coils and rot and blemish it. Wind can crush it to the ground, yet this peach fills my mouth with juicy sun. This is a blessing for the first garden tomato, those green boxes of tasteless acid the store sells in January, those red things with the savor of wet chalk. They mock your fragrant name. How fat and sweet you are, laying down my palm, warm as the flank of a cow in the sun. You are the savor of summer in a thin red skin. This is a blessing for a political victory. Although I shall not forget that things work in increments and epicycles and sometimes leaves that half the time fall back down. Let's not relinquish dancing while the music fits into our hips and bounces our heels. We must never forget, pleasure is real as pain. The blessing for the return of a favorite cat, the blessing for love return, for friends return, for money received unexpected, the blessing for the rising of the bread, the sun, the oppressed. I am not sentimental about old men mumbling the Hebrew by rote with no more feeling than what it says, Gesundheit. But the discipline of blessings is to taste each moment, the bitter, the sour, the sweetness, and the salty, and be glad for whatever does not hurt. The art is in impressing attention to each little and big blossom of the tree of life, to let the tongue sing each fruit, its savor, its aroma, and its use. Attention is love, what we must give children, mothers, fathers, pets, our friends, the news, the woes of others. What we want to change, we curse and then take up a tool. Bless whatever you can with eyes and hands and tongue. If you can't bless it, get ready to make it new. Thank you.